You're all very welcome to the next and the last session of the day for our the Travel Summit. Travel Summit's a very grandiose word for what's going on here. What we really want is this to be your show. You're on the stage. These guys are here to answer your question. We have microphones and we have spotters. So anyone who has anything to ask about the cruise industry, about prices, about options, about itineraries, these are the people who have all the questions. If we don't have the answers to your particular question, I guarantee you there is somebody in the room that will be able to answer the question. Over the next 2.5 days, we will have 50,000 people going through this hall. And in the era of the internet, it's very, very hard to get face-to-face engagement, very, very hard to get someone to actually look in their eye and ask them a difficult question and get an answer, rather than spending 20 minutes chasing searches and answers and dead leads. We have got all of the major cruise lines that operate out of Ireland represented here on the stage, and they're very, very welcome, and I really appreciate you giving over your time. Coming from the left of the stage, we've Alan Lynch of Cruisescapes, who is also the representative in Ireland for Fred Olsen Cruise Lines. We have Jenny Rafter from Royal Caribbean, who is the sort of market leader in Ireland. We've Rebecca Kelly from MSC, who won the Industry Representative of the Year award at the Irish Travel Industry Awards last night. Yes, Rebecca, Champione. We have Tom Britton from Marble City Travel and the cruise brand, Tom. Is also in the hall here, and we've John Galligan, who is one of the major. We've two travel agents on the right hand side of the stage as you're looking, and John Galligan of John Galligan Travel, who is great cruise expertise as well, and is also representative in Ireland for several different cruise lines. I'm going to ask John to start off by giving us a little bit of a glimpse as what happens on a cruise holiday. The traditional way that people sold cruise holidays were that you pay once, you get on board a ship, you can sleep. Dawn Conway is here from Sunway, and Dawn will be talking about Norwegian and all the other cruise products that Sunway have. And I'll go back to John. Traditionally, a cruise holiday meant you paid once, you had got on a ship, the ship was your floating hotel, you unpacked once, you have this wonderful accommodation with food, and you've got entertainment at night, and you wake up in a different location every day, because the way cruise holidays work, some most of the audience will already know, is that the sailing is done at night time. And you wake up, if you're in the Mediterranean, in a different city port every day, or if you're in the Caribbean on a different beach or island location every day, and you pay once, and that's it. Everything is taken care of. That was the way people thought of cruise. That's the way people bought cruise. But everything has been changing very, very much in the last 4 or 5 years, John. Cruise holidays are much more than just a floating hotel nowadays, aren't they?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think Owen has stolen a lot of my thunder there, in that he's described adequately the concept of cruising. But as he rightly says, cruising is now one of the most complex part of the travel industry. I mean, depending on what you like to do, what you want to do, there is a cruise that is dedicated for the type of thing you want to do. So it's now a very, very fragmented kind of business. And, from very, very small cruises that go up the Amazon to very, very large cruisers that go down, and the biggest, I think, of which is going to be represented here by Royal Caribbean today, going down the Caribbean. So there's very, very different feel to what happens on board those ships. Can I ask, by the way, how many people have cruised here? I think that would help us all to know that. Have you all cruised? Okay, so there's a lot of people who haven't cruised before here, and what we find is that there's a pretty common list of objections, is what they call it in the sales terms, and I'm sure we'll all deal with those in the course of what we're saying today. But usually it's I'm going to be bored, there's nothing to do, I'm going to be stuck with an life insurance salesman who's boring me to tears, and I'm not going to like the food, and there's going to be nothing to do on board. Well, all of those objections come from people who have never cruised before. You will never hear them from someone who's cruised previously, and particularly if they have chosen the right cruise for them, you will never hear those comments made. All right.
Great. No, that's good. And Tom, your cruise model over the last 2 years has expanded out of your traditional bases in Kilkenny. Irish people, when they're looking for a cruise, where do they tend to go? Are we more a Caribbean country than a Med country, the Baltics, the Alaska coastline? What do Irish people look for in a cruise that might be different from other markets? How do people respond when they get that vast array of choice that John was just talking about?
Well, I think the starting point for most people is the Mediterranean, partly because they know the destination. You've been to Barcelona or Rome before, so it starts you off, so you're in familiar territory. Because again, a lot of people are on their first time cruise, so it can look overwhelming when you're going through the brochure and how many things you do. So prime market for Ireland has always been Spain, so cruising the Mediterranean is an extension. Then follows on with the Caribbean, which I think is very much an aspirational style holiday, in that we think of the warm beaches and tropical islands. But to be fair, the Baltics are growing and the fjords are growing, so Norway and tackling the fjords, and then St. Petersburg, again another destination we all want to try, and then you can tackle those two destinations out of the UK.
I think it's the only way. Your only way into Russia without a visa is to cruise into St. Petersburg, isn't that right?
Which is the other side of cruising. The cruise companies generally organise a lot of these things. So when you go to St. Petersburg, rather than going through the rigmarole of trying to organise your own Russian visa, the cruise lines already have that in hand.
Great. I'll come at this side, Alan. You sell a lot of cruises of different types, but
that's right.
How does it work? The new ships, the glitzy new ships, will be the more expensive ones, and the small luxury ships will be even more expensive. And then you can go all the way right down to fairly inexpensive cruises. Is that the way?
Yeah, that's right. It really depends on your itinerary, really, these days, on the type of
Is it
hardware.
The ship or the itinerary decides the price?
It really depends on the itinerary and the hardware that they're using, so the ship that they're using at that time. Obviously, if you've got a smaller ship, the cost to get a ship out in the ocean, no matter what way you do it, is still going to be this. There's going to be cost factors in there that are not going to be. If you have a bigger ship, it's going to be cheaper to get to those itineraries. But the smaller ships they may not necessarily have everything that the glitzier, bigger ships have. But they don't suit everybody. So there is, as John was saying earlier on, there is a cruise really for everybody out there. So it really depends on what you're after. If you're after lots of buzz and lots of people around, go for the bigger ships. The glitz, the glamour. If you want a more traditional style cruising, you go for the smaller ships, and they tend to be a little bit more expensive, purely because of the cost factors involved as well.
Now, the biggest ships of all are Royal Caribbean. You've got Harmony of the Seas, which is going through the shipyard at the moment, and when it launches on May the 20th, is it? It will be the biggest ship in the world. What are the advantages of a really big ship, Jenny?
Thanks for your question, Owen. Just to mention that Royal Caribbean have 24 ships within our fleet, so we do have some smaller ships that hold just over 2,000 guests. But the ship you mentioned, Harmony of the Seas, will be the newest ship to join our fleet, coming in May, and she will be doing a couple of short sailings out of Southampton, some 3-night and 4-night sailings, and then she'll be home ported in Barcelona doing 7-night itineraries. But these ships really do have something for everybody on board. They're absolutely amazing. They're really innovative. The technology we have on board, the choice of dining, the choice of entertainment. We're going to have Grease the Musical on this
Grease the
ship.
Musical on the, yeah, okay.
2.5-hour production, the West End Broadway style production. So absolutely phenomenal.
And how many restaurants? It's something like 25 different restaurants.
There's a real range of restaurants, from the main dining room to a buffet style area, an Italian. We've got a restaurant called Wonderland that's themed on Alice in Wonderland, and it really is a culinary experience that you'll never experience on land or on sea.
Right.
So offering something really, really different.
Now, Harmony is only one side of your portfolio. You also have another very tech-savvy ships with a lot of on-board activity. Very, very far cry from the old floating hotel. You've got virtual skydiving, you've got ponds, you've got surfing, you've got all of these activities, and this is through the newer ships in your fleet.
Yeah, I think Royal Caribbean, as I said, we are leaders in innovation, and we were delighted to have collected the award for Best Cruise Line last night at the Travel Awards. But like all cruise lines, MSC, NCL, all of the ships that are being built are just state-of-the-art, and they offer a fantastic cruise holiday. So whatever brand you decide to sail with, you'll be very pleased. But as you mentioned, just innovations, that's some of the features and the activities you can do. But we've got the fastest Wi-Fi at sea. You can now get a little band that you'll be able to get in and out of your stateroom. You can charge things to your onboard account. We even have a robot bar where there's 2 robots that will make you your drink. So no flirting with those barmen, ladies.
The robots are very slow. They're very slow.
So really, really amazing experiences.
Right. Rebecca, MSC, they're known as kings of the Mediterranean, really. You guys own the Mediterranean. A family-owned cruise line. They're based out of Genoa, and you've got a lot of ships in the Mediterranean, but you've also got some exciting stuff happening in the Far East and in Cuba.
Yeah.
The Middle East and Cuba,
the Middle East and Cuba. As you said, we have 12 ships in the fleet, and 8 of them are in the Med, and we have 1 ship now doing the East, the Emirates Islands, so from Dubai. And we were saying this earlier on, it's absolutely amazing that the uptake we've had on this, taken in places like Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Oman, and even a new island that they've built that's going to be has a zoo on board, a zoo on the island, and fabulous hotels and restaurants and pool areas. I was just saying to Owen earlier on, the price point on this alone. And today I went off for a few hours and I came back to one of the girls and I said, "How'd you get on?" And she says, "I've done 6 bookings alone for January 2017 from Dubai."
From Dubai.
From Dubai.
Yeah. What price are we talking about?
899.
899. What does that include? Your flights?
So what it is, it's your flights Dublin to Dubai with Emirates, which Emirates are a phenomenal airline, and they also won last night. Transfers, your 7 nights on board, and all inclusive. So for $899, if you're putting a deposit down today, €50, €100 with your agents here today, and then just tick away at that every couple of weeks, and that's your holiday straight after Christmas, booked and done. It's an amazing price, and it's an amazing cruise. Again, as you said, we also have Cuba. Cuba is new to us, so we're going to have 2 ships out of Cuba. One at the moment for the winter from December through to March, and next year all year round. Right. So that's been fantastic for us as well.
And Dawn, Norwegian have also been building some amazing new ships as well. Yeah. You're based out of Miami with the latest one, and lots of options in the Mediterranean as well.
Yeah, Dawn.
They have the Norwegian Escape, which they launched there in October, and literally they have got 4 ships out of the Caribbean. They have a couple out of the Mediterranean, and then also the Baltics as well. They're also offering the free drinks package, which I know a lot of the cruise companies are actually offering at the moment. Or it is also free Wi-Fi on board, free onboard credit, and free drinks packages. So really, really, really good deals at the moment.
What price point? What's your lead-in rate?
We're doing 25th of September Norwegian Epic, $975 at the moment, including flights. And obviously, if you book the whole thing with ourselves, you're covered for any mishaps at the airport or missed delays and stuff like that as well.
And I'll bring Jenny back in again for price points. That amazing Harmony, the seas out of Barcelona. What do we start at?
We've some fantastic deals here exclusive to the show where we've got some reduced air add-ons. So for the 12th of June, we're offering return flights with Aer Lingus, transfers in your check bag just for €99 per person. And then, as I mentioned, it sails the full season in Europe, and then she moves over to the Caribbean. So just look on the 18th of September, 7 nights, fly cruise 1395.
1395.
Yeah, and we're going to have the largest slide at sea on board the ship, where it goes down 10 decks.
I have to try that water slide, actually. I love my water slides. I've been first into the pool of most of the major ships that Jenny has built, and some of the ones that Rebecca has built in recent years, and some of Dawn's as well. But I was beaten to the pool on one of the MSCs. I think it was very poor. John, people who do not like flying, they hate flying. What are we going to do to get more of these ships to depart directly from Ireland? What are the options coming up in 2016 and 2017 that you can actually cruise out of Ireland, out of Dublin, out of Belfast? I think there's a cruise out of Killybegs as well. But what are the options that we have for cruising directly out of Ireland without having to fly anywhere?
Well, I think Ireland is Ireland, so it's a small market. That's the first thing we have to say. The company that Alan's representing, Fred Olsen, have been very good to Ireland over the years. They had small ships. They had a little one, you'll remember, the Black Prince.
The Black Prince, yes.
Which came into Ireland and out of Ireland. For the last number of years, they haven't been doing that out of Ireland. But we do, as you've kindly said, my role in life is to be the independent broker to offer as many cruise possibilities as possible. And one of the things that we have on our website is a page which is dedicated to cruises out of Ireland and into Ireland. So you have cruises, not many unfortunately, that start in Ireland and come back to Ireland, but you do have a lot of cruises that leave Ireland and go somewhere else. So you might have a Lisbon to Dublin or a Dublin to Lisbon. Actually, what is described as the best cruise ship in the world, the Europa 2, is sailing from Dublin this year in July. But she's going to Hamburg. That's not everybody's cup of tea, but So there is a dedicated page on our website, jgt.ie, which will tell you everything that's happening out of Ireland and into Ireland. One of the ones is the Killybegs to Canada one that Alan is selling. So a lot of the stuff now is going out of Belfast, because I think Fred Olsen, maybe for licensing reasons, are using the UK ports. So there's a few of them going from Belfast. A number of the cruise companies are operating charters out of Ireland, which is a fly cruise, but it's still a direct, like Hurtigruten did in Northern Lights this year, and they'll be doing it again next year.
That's a direct flight from Dublin to Tromsø in March. And it means it would normally be you'd have to fly to Oslo and then on to Tromsø. But Hurtigruten, who are in the hall here, are doing a flight direct from Dublin to Tromsø, and you get your cruise up around the Cape and you see the Northern Lights. If the Northern Lights show up, we can't actually command them to show up, but it's a lovely cruise as well. Yeah. Alan, Fred Olsen, they've been good to Ireland. They've been doing a lot of ship calls, port calls here, and they're doing that. They're the ones going from Killybegs to Canada.
That's right. This year we have 6 departures out of Ireland. As John was saying, that we've 2 out of Belfast. One of those go to the Norwegian Fjords, which Tom is saying that has become very popular and is gathering up more speed as time goes on, and as people become more used to cruising. They want to venture a little bit further than the Mediterranean, and one of the hot spots at the moment is the fjords or the Baltic countries. So the Norwegian Fjords fits right in there. That goes out on the 23rd of July from Belfast, and that's 9 nights. And we have a special again just for the show, that if you book before the 31st of January, we'll also give you your drinks on board, included in the package as well. Besides that, Fred Olsen also have a drinks package which is €14. It's the cheapest drinks package per day, and that goes for all of their itineraries throughout the world, not just the ones out of Ireland.
So what does that entitle you to, Alan?
It's
£14. It's sterling.
€14.
€14.
Yeah, it's 12 sterling or something like that. Yeah, so it's €14. It covers all your drinks, unlimited drinks. Some of the your beers, your cocktails, your spirits, wine at dinner by the glass, not by the bottle.
And what's the price of the pint on board if you have
sterling wise, I think it's high street price is maybe £4 €5 a pint.
So if you're having more than 2 drinks or 3 drinks,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it also includes your coffees, your mineral waters, all of that type of thing, as they do for all other cruise companies.
Drinks packages are all the rage. Rebecca, tell me about your drinks packages.
Drinks packages, as you said, are all the rage, and I don't know about the other guys, but we checked to see what markets would sell the most, and actually the Irish market is up there. They were actually number 3 behind the Norwegian and the Germans.
Behind who?
The Norwegians and the Germans.
The Norwegians and the Germans,
yeah,
right.
so we're number 3.
National stereotype we have to live up to, guys. I'm sorry.
But they are really, really popular now, and in actual fact I think every cruise line at the moment went out with an all-inclusive because it sells so well. So we have I always thought that the cheapest one at sea, Alan, but there you go now. You've stumped me there with that one. So we're €26 per person.
€26 per person.
Yeah, and that's unlimited cocktails, just Smirnoff. A lot of people say to me, but will I get a Smirnoff? Will I get a Beefy? Or will I get Bacardi? Absolutely, that's all included in that.
So it's the premium brands.
Yeah, it's the premium brands. But as I said, everyone really has a free all-inclusive. And to be honest, if you look, I know my brother went off there last year and he came back with the bill because they make you still sign the bill. So he paid €180 for his drinks before he went. He's 24, so you have to take this in mind. And him and his girlfriend, €862 they spent on drink.
And what's the price of a glass of wine on MSC without the...
A glass of wine in a normal bar, probably about €4. But if you were to go to the wine bar and get a more selected wine, €6.
Great.
Yeah.
And drinks packages, Jenny, on Royal Caribbean?
Yeah, with Royal Caribbean, we price in dollars on board, but right now for the month of January we have a campaign all-inclusive. So the first guest pays full cruise price, the second guest pays half price, and then we have a drinks package included in that, which is unlimited wines, beers, non-alcoholic cocktails and soft drinks. So the value of that is $42 a day.
Right.
If you were to, which you're getting included in the price of your cruise.
42.
Yeah.
And Dawn, drinks packages, Norwegian?
They're actually giving them away and giving them free of charge as well.
Sorry?
They're free at the moment with Norwegian. Up until the end of April, actually, they're giving the free drinks packages.
Right, so there's no premium drink for the drinks package?
Premium, it's actually wines, cocktails, spirits, everything, full drinks packages. Now, if you were to pay, it's approximately about $55 per person per day, so you really are saving about $400 for the week cruising.
Yeah, great. Tom, what else should people watch when they're booking their cruise? The shore excursions can be quite expensive, can they? They can mount up a bit.
They can, but there's a number of methods of tackling shore excursions. You can obviously do your own research and zip away yourselves. There's companies then that provide, I'm going to call it kind of like we'll call it the yellow pack version of what the cruise companies do. However, there is a twist in that, which is where the cruise companies offer the shore excursion, they guarantee that they'll get you back on time, and if the donkey gone up the mountain breaks down, well, that's fine. They'll get you back on time. If you're working away yourself and you miss your ship, well, it's up to you to figure your way to the next port. So while you may save a few quid on on your shore excursion by doing it yourself, very often with the cruise companies you're better off doing it fully inclusive. And on most ships you have a shore excursion desk, and they'll explain the ins and outs of what your trip entails for the day. So it's the usual recommendation of going.
Sorry, you're not...
especially for, like, both Jenny and I go out to Dubai. I'm not sure about NCL, but did they go from Dubai? No. So when you're doing the excursions, I really recommend doing it with the cruise lines, because we have to respect religion, we have to respect rules. And I know when I just got off to have a walk around with my daughters, and I stumbled upon a beach, and the beach was really strict. You weren't allowed to wear swimwear on the beach. But if you did an excursion with the company, they brought you to a beach where beachwear was allowed.
Right.
But you could not walk on this beach in your swimwear at all. So I highly recommend. But honestly, guys, your travel agents know everything. They're the ones who have all the information.
These two guys know everything.
Yeah,
right.
You should you should use them, because they're the ones to be able to say to you, look, this is for walking difficulties, this is what's included here, I recommend this for you. And they have all that information to key. They may tell you they may tell you, okay, look, go online and do this, and then pre-book it with me. And they also save you money as well by doing it with them.
John, hell has no fury, like the person who's been sold the wrong cruise. You said something very wise. It's really It's not just booking the cruise; it has to be the right cruise.
And it is a really complex area because I was on one of the Royal Caribbean ships. Thank you very much, Jenny. And it's a stunning, stunning ship. But if you're 80, maybe it's not the ship for you. If you're 80, maybe it is the ship for you. You just need to pick the right product.
Yeah.
And just going back to something you said earlier there about the things to watch for in cruising. I think the cruise companies are very good about packaging things now, so they're trying to take a lot of the mystery out of it. But you've got to get there, so you need to know whether your flights are included or not. You need transfers from the airport to the ship. You have your cruise price. Generally, there's gratuities, tips, so you need to know whether that's included or not. The drinks packages are great. Are they included? If they're not, how much are they? And the shore excursions, that's the other big area of expense. So these are all the areas that you need to be watching for to make up what it's going to cost you. And some of it's all included and some of it's all bundled is the new word. So you need just advice through that because each product will have a different selection.
Questions from the floor. This is your show now. I'm hogging your valuable time asking questions, but you guys, you won't get these people together on a stage again for a while, so throw your questions, get your questions for them. Do you want to tell your... Yes, there's somebody here.
Hello, thank you. I'm interested in, at some stage, doing the Panama Canal cruise. A relative of mine was very enthusiastic about having done it. What do you recommend?
Okay, who's good on Panama Canal? Is it Norwegian territory?
Norwegian do the Panama Canal.
And the cost, sorry.
Sorry?
The cost.
Cost.
Please.
Including flights, off the top of my head, depending on when you want to go. The Panama Canal is generally a longer cruise than a 7 night, so you might probably do about a 10 night. And depending on cabin, would you like inside, outside, or balcony? Doesn't matter. Okay,
nice.
Lead-in price inside with flights, and you need to overnight before your cruise. I'd probably a ballpark figure around about 1,800 per person.
Where do you fly to, Dawn?
It depends.
Yeah, I think I know other lines do it as well. I think Princess or
a lot of
Fred Olsen have it, Alan. Yeah. Do you want to come in there? Yeah, all good.
So, sorry again, please, Fred Olsen. And who else did you say? Sorry,
Princess and Royal Caribbean.
Thank you.
So there's quite a selection of them. There's a gentleman here, right?
Thank you. Fred Olsen's drinks package on the 2-for-1. You said wines, beer, spirits, and soft drinks. What spirits? Are they premium spirits?
Well, it really... Come on in. It really depends on what you call premium, but like the likes of Smirnoff, there would be, I'm not necessarily saying there would be Irish whiskey, but there would be whiskey involved in it as well. But a lot of the premium brands that we would call premium brands would be included, yes.
Right. Do you want to tell your story?
Do I want to tell it?
Yeah.
Ships are amazing. We were one of those people who decided to organise our own trip, my sister and myself here. We went with my mum, and we were of that brigade that thought it's for old people, dull and boring, but my mum won it in a Granny of the Year, and so we went with her out of pity and support, and we had the time of our lives. If anyone here is thinking of going on a cruise, I would hugely recommend it. It's great fun, and the luxury and the minding that you get and the places that you see, it's wonderful. Opening your blinds every morning to a different vista. I mean, that was a buzz for me. It's absolutely great fun. Absolutely. The staff, we went with Celebrity X. We had a fabulous time, and we're here again to inquire about another one. Can I ask, and the boat did wait, sorry, I lost track there. We did go to Rome one day, silly us, and we missed the train. And the taxi man got lost. A series of events happened.
Series of unfortunate events, right?
Yes, outside of our control. And we had Mammy with us, who was 84 in the wheelchair, and 2 others. And taxi man got lost. We had to pay an exuberant amount of money. And we got there at 9:30, and the ship had gone from 8 or whatever. So we were going to go to Nice and collected there the next morning, as we thought, but all our passports, money and all was on the ship. So Terry here decided, can the ship turn back for us? They didn't actually do that, but what they did is they waited out, and we had to get a dinghy out, which was terrifying for my mother. We had a rope ladder down the side of the ship. We climbed up halfway and we got on, and we still were sitting down to our evening meal at 11 o'clock.
Hey, happy ending.
Great, with a large brandy. Sorry, can I just ask, in terms of places like Rome, you would love an extra day. Does any of the cruises do where you can cruise and maybe say, I'm staying here for 2 days and pick me up in 3 days or whatever? Does any liners do that?
No liner. I don't think any liner does it, but there's what you can do. Like a lot of people would do like a back-to-back cruise. So you could do a 7-night cruise, and again, this is going back to the travel agents. You need to book with the travel agents, and they would then set you up in Rome for 3 nights, or set you up in Barcelona, and then you could go on to a different cruise line, or you could go on to the same cruise line, because we have cruises. Our cruise goes out of Barcelona on a Wednesday. You go out on Fridays. Sundays.
Yeah.
So that can all be offered. It'll cost you, but it'll still be quite good offering.
Is departure point important, Tom?
For simplicity.
Oh, sorry, you've no microphone yet. Don has it. Yeah.
From the point of view of simplicity, Rome has a longer transfer. We'll say it's approximately an hour from the airport, and Rome Airport is entertaining on a good day. Barcelona is very simple to get in and out of. You've Marseille this year as well. So if I was starting, I'd probably go for Barcelona, because when you land in Barcelona and you're scooting along the runway, you're looking at the cruise port over here, so it's only 15 minutes away. And as I say, then after that it's Rome. But if you want, you can take a punt out of Southampton as well. A 1-hour flight from here, 10 minutes down. Even if you get lost, the taxi will have you there in 15 minutes. So there's some really simple cruise ports nearby.
It's a big issue that Palma and Malaga were big departure points for Ireland, weren't they? And they're no longer really as important. In fact, Thompson Discovery, which is not represented here, is going to be operating out. Thompson will be operating out of Palma this summer, I think. They'll have two ships out of Palma. But that meant that Irish people are really, their options have come down a little bit, that it's going to be a lot more Barcelona and less of what traditionally we used
Well, to be fair on that one, we'll say MSC in particular, and actually Royal have 2 departure points very often, both Barcelona and Rome, which the other plus of is that we have 2 flights a day, if not 4 flights a day. You have a couple of Ryanairs, a couple of Aer Linguses, so it opens up your options. Partly if a flight's delayed or something, there's backup options for you as well, so that you don't miss your cruise. And when you book it all as a package, obviously it's fine, it's put together, but there are options as to where you get on and off.
Question from the floor. We have this woman here. Sorry, John. John, come in first. Yeah.
While you're just getting the mic, do you mind if I add to that? Because I think this lady has really captured the essence of the cruising concept, which is fantastic to hear. And I'm glad you enjoyed it, and well done on that. But you asked a very interesting question, and it's really, I suppose, where I would see our role in this whole thing, in that some of the cruise companies are excellent in getting you to a cruise and having your cruise and getting you home. What you've asked there is, can you now stay on for a couple of days, which is not quite the same thing. A lot of the cruise lines, there are quite a number, like Rebecca and Jenny's cruise lines, MSC and Royal Caribbean and Celebrity and others, who will package up your flights and your transfers and your cruise. And they do a really good job of that. But most of the other cruise lines will just sell the cruise. And so therefore you can go any day you like, anywhere you like, stay for as long as you like, and get your cruise in the middle, and you can go home. So that's the sort of packaging. That's really where the likes of the agents slip into this thing. So again, it goes back to the array of cruises that are available. They're not only cruises, the add-ons and the flights and the way to get there and the way to get home and all that carry on. But basically, you can have whatever you want. But find the right thing. Find the right thing. That's the key.
Right. Ready here.
On the Dubai cruise, are they, the tours, are they included? And do you book them before you go or on the ship?
The excursions are not included in your prices. I only think some cruise lines, including ourselves, would do a 24 stay, a repositioning cruise, and they might include some excursions. But regarding the Dubai one, no, they're not. But they start off from €30 all the way up to €80. You can do a city tour, you can do a seaplane. I've seen some of the seaplanes taken off, and that was nearly €200. You can swim with dolphins, you can do desert safaris. So there's always choice. But no, they're generally not, unless, Alan, you do. But generally for Dubai, no, they're not. But, they're not. And then again, you can pre-book them, or you can book them on board. But what I will say to you is something that's really popular will sell out very, very fast. So anyone who hasn't cruised before, I would say when you get on board, you take out your diary and you say, okay, each day is this. I really want to do that. I'm going down now and I'm going to get that booked.
Yes. And is the tipping, is it per couple or per person?
Per person.
Per person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm.
John, do you want to go in?
Tom.
John. Can you guys hear me? Because I can't hear me. Just in relation to that, the average, the normal is you buy your excursions on board beforehand online, or as Tom said, you could probably buy them on the quay. But there are a few lines where shore excursions are included. Silver Seas, who have a stand here today, did it in Europe last year. They're doing it in the Far East this year. Regent Cruises include shore excursions for all of their stops. Oceania Cruises are offering packages on certain cruises where they'll give you 3 or 4 shore excursions included. So that's always part of what I was talking earlier about, factoring in that. What are you paying for? What's included in your package? How much is it? And then factor in, maybe I'll have to buy some shore excursions on top of that. Sometimes a really expensive looking cruise can work out quite good value.
All of those cruises lines you're talking about, most of those cruise lines are they're top end, the very expensive end, but they have stuff to sell at reduced rates at times as well. You can you can actually get a premium cruise.
Absolutely, and there's, depending on how it's selling, you can. And one of the jobs that we do, and that Tom will be doing, is looking to see where the value is. And I've done that very recently, and I have a cruise which we're promoting at the moment with Oceania, who would be quite a luxurious cruise line, and it's got the 3 shore excursions included, and the lead-in price is €1,000. So that's really cheap, and that's a top-end cruise line. So sometimes,
what would it normally cost, John?
Oh, it'd be twice that easily.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just catch them when they need to fill a cruise. And Irish people have a good advantage here in that we wake up late. Like when we start buying our cruises, it's January this year, whereas everybody else has been buying them for the last year. So they've been paying full whack. And now we're coming into the late season with the cruise lines, and they're saying, well, we've got to fill this cruise, we'll dump the price. And that's when we get some good value.
And where, looking into your crystal ball, is there overcapacity this year that cruise?
I think Alaska seems to be, pricing is softening a little in Alaska. I'm seeing some very good value with P&O at the moment for Fjords. Very, very good value. Lead-in prices there are $699. I think Tom sells that too. Very good value with £180 onboard credit out of that, so that's for nothing.
Yeah.
I think where we're seeing only this morning with the cruise I'm talking about was due to leave from Istanbul. It's just been cancelled out of Istanbul, repositioned to Athens, and when that's going on, the Americans don't buy, so you get a good value there. And that's why that cruise is so cheap.
I think that's happening. One by one, the cruise lines are pulling Turkey. The last week we've had it. Rebecca pulled it yesterday. So.
We pulled it yesterday. And do you know what? When they said they were going to pull it, I said, really, do we want to pull that? Because, these things are happening everywhere. Yes, we have to be, security is first. So we've switched it off with Mykonos and Santorini. And again, Mykonos and Santorini, Jenny, you did this as well, is that these places you can't get to from Ireland anymore. None of the tour operators go there. They're absolutely stunning destinations. And actually, that's the most popular itinerary out there. So, I just said, the really stunning itineraries for there now.
Rebecca and Jenny are now the CEOs of MSC and Royal Caribbean, and their salaries have been raised to match. But you're absolutely right. The Santorini is inaccessible from Ireland since there was a charter a couple of years ago. So it's the only way really of getting to some of these places. Questions on the floor. We're using your time. Sorry, Alan.
To add to that, what I would do is I'd give a little word of caution just with regard to waiting a last minute for getting a cruise bargain, especially to places like Barcelona or whatever else, because the nearer you get to departure, the cruise might be a little bit cheaper, but the flights are astronomical to buy, so you're losing out on that end of it as well. So I would think book early if you can, because you get your flights cheap, You also get things like that. What's going on in the show at the moment, we're asking you to book early, but there's incentives for you to book early. So if you wait till the last moment, you may not necessarily get the cabin that you want. You get the cheaper end of the cabin, a cheaper price maybe, but you're not necessarily getting the best value. So there's a difference between a good deal and the best value.
We don't have the Aer Lingus man on stage anymore, but I do suspect that Aer Lingus were hiking the price.
Absolutely, every time there's a cruise on,
they saw the cruise departures and they bumped up the flight prices to make a few bob.
But sorry, I didn't get a chance to go back on some of the episodes that had happened, and I just want to know, would you like a job? But I'll just give you a story that actually only happened this morning. Last night we had the ITAA Awards on, which the two ladies here on my left,
Jenny and Rebecca,
Jenny and Rebecca won last night. But it was a hard night, let's say, for the most of the people in the travel business, because we woke up early to come to this show today. But I went into the office this morning at 9 o'clock, and all the girls were there. There was a little bit of a panic going on, because I'm not too sure if any of you are aware, but there was a lot of snow in the east coast of America this morning, and we had 4 people going out with Royal Caribbean to one of the Caribbean cruises. 2 sets of people, the 4 of them knew each other. 2 of them had booked, a pair, like a couple, had booked flights and flights and the cruise to ourselves and a night in San Juan beforehand. And the other couple decided that they would do it themselves. So the only people that we could help were the people who actually booked the flights and the accommodation on the cruise to ourselves. The people who just booked the cruise only, we couldn't help them, unfortunately. So, there is a lot of people are kind of saying you've got to make sure that you're looking at the deal, that it does include all of the things, like everybody said, whether it includes gratuities, your drinks, or whatever else. Because these are the things, it's a kind of a false economy if you think you're getting something for really cheap. There's a reason why you're getting something really cheap, and that's why it's important to look at the small print of what you're booking, and that's why a travel agent can actually give you the information on, and that's why we're here, and that's why travel agents, 10 years ago they were saying it's the death knell of the travel agent, because of the internet, but that's why we've survived, and that's why we're continuing to go. And cruising is a growth market, and the Irish cruise market is very, very important to all the cruise lines. As I said to you earlier on, is that Fred Olsen have committed themselves. They're now doing 6 departures from Ireland this year, so it gives people who don't want to fly the opportunity to getting into cruising as well. So, sorry, I just said I'd say that because that is a true story. We actually eventually got things sorted out at about 12 o'clock today.
Lady in the back row.
Hi, I just wanted to know what the name of the website that gentleman gave.
John.
What was the name of your website?
John Galligan, traveljgt.ie.
And
Thank you.
Tom's website?
Cruiseparadise.ie.
Cruiseparadise.ie.
Well, my name is, I'm from MSC Cruises, but actually I'm from the cruise line. But I have all the travel agents that are up here with us, as well as the ones in the room today. They can all look after you.
So to explain, we have 2 people from cruise line, and we have Dawn, who is from a tour operator that specialises in one cruise line but also sells other cruises, and we have 3 travel agents. So we have a mix of people independently looking at it and representing cruise lines. Jenny, sorry I cut across you.
So just to reinforce what you were saying, cruise is a little bit of a complex product, and especially for people who haven't cruised before, there's such choice of itineraries, various ships, various brands, cabin grades from interiors, ocean views, balconies and suites, and now even some suite classes offer some exclusive benefits added to it. So not only that, but linking in with air and hotels and pre-stay, you really should book with the travel agent, and you have a secure package. So should anything happen, God bless volcanic ash, which we experienced a few years ago, and all guests were protected. Or Alan's example here this morning. But Irish travel agents, they've all pretty much experienced, if they're cruise sellers, all of our brands anyway, MSC and Royal Caribbean. So they really are experts in this field, so would highly recommend that you do speak to your travel agent before going online to book yourself.
There is no price advantage.
No. Well,
the cruise line is not like Ryanair. It won't sell something cheaper to you on the internet.
No.
It's this travel agent will get the full price. But we have something quite interesting happening, maybe Tom and John want to come in with this, or Dawn, that there are websites based in the UK that sell discounted cruises that sometimes look cheaper than what would be available in the Irish market. Do you want to come in on this, Dawn?
Again, sorry, you're not covered if you just book cruise only out of the UK. So the rate of exchange and everything as well. So you really, really are. We have to stress you'd be better off booking through a tour operator or travel agent out of Ireland. Obviously, then you get the price in euro as well, which is much better than the sterling price.
Great. Any last questions before our people depart? Thank you so much, guys. You're really great. Oh, there's somebody here.
One this afternoon.
Very popular.
Yes, I'm interested at some stage in going to Antarctica, in particular the area where they'll see, I think, where Tom Crean, our Irish explorer, was explored. And I'm just wondering what is available and what is the price, or what are the possibilities?
Okay, John, do you want to come in Antarctica? You're a bit of an Antarctica
You've just pressed my hot button there. Yeah, this is my. We've done
the Herty route to Antarctica, and it's. I could not recommend it more highly as a cruise experience. It is something that you will stand out for the rest of your life. It's really amazing. Anyway, John, you're...
Yeah, I mean, as Owen well knows, this is a hot button for me. It's an area that I'm particularly interested in. I've followed Shackleton, I read about Shackleton, I've seen Tom Crean's one-man play a number of times, which was fantastic. We did it a couple of years ago. We were very fortunate, and we managed to do the whole thing for about 8,900 and we got everybody in single cabins, which is unprecedented. Again, it's the sort of thing that I'd see the market for that as 10,000 a head.
Yeah,
and that's the bad news. It's very, very difficult. It's almost impossible to get that for 10,000 a head. To put it together for that cheap. But it happens once in a while, and we did Hurtigruten, and they were selling off some stuff this year in November, and we got some people down there for less than that. But that's the target audience. I'm going to do another one too. We do a bucket list trip as we have a bucket list product that we sell, and we do various oddball things, and one of them is Antarctica, and I'm going to get a group down to Antarctica if it kills me, and probably in 2017.
It's around 10,000, but there is it's not really relevant to this audience, but the cheapest way to get to Antarctica is to get down to Ushuaia and shop there as the ships are leaving. And you can get some of the Chilean and Argentinian line ships, which aren't of high quality, going out that will sell you off a cruise at a very, very cheap price. And I know it's more a backpacker thing, but I know a couple of backpackers who've done that and have basically it's virtually hitchhiking at the end of the pier in Ushuaia. The last thing before the pier in Ushuaia is an Irish pub, by the way, and then you can actually stand outside that and hitchhike. And if somebody has empty cabins, they will sell it off to you. But I wouldn't recommend anyone fly down from Dublin to Ushuaia to wait. Yeah. Do go to the main lines that do it. Hurtigruten is one of them.
I think the important thing about that, just to pick you up a little bit on that, is that, and you're right, that's the cheapest way to get there. But if anyone in this panel here is sending an Irish client away, we will do it in a way that we're confident about the quality and the safety, particularly Antarctica. We're not going to take a chance on a ship line that we don't know anything about.
If anything happens, you're days away from the nearest ship. It's really, really remote.
Goosed. And that's one of the reasons, because we would only use a reputable international recognised brand, not Mrs. Murphy's trawler that, with respect, that's not what you're suggesting.
They tend to be adventure. They tend to be adventure ships. And what happened really with Antarctica, and it's in one line, is that at the time of the millennium, the 1999-2000, a lot of cruise lines decided together this would be a good idea to do the new year in Antarctica, and the end of the Berlin Wall meant that the old Russian icebreakers were all for sale. So you ended up with all these ships being refitted, and some of them are of better quality than others. The ones that are run by Quark Expeditions, by Hurtigruten, they're all high quality. But there's a lot of Argentinian and Chilean guys who bought icebreakers and are running the the ship down there. So you can get down there. But I would recommend highly the one I did, Hertgenruten. Do you want to put recommendations in there, John, as well?
For
Antarctica.
Well, the only cruise lines I would consider for Antarctica would be Hertgenruten is probably going to be the best value. Le Ponant is a French company who have a number of ships down there. The one that we were very successful with previously was one called the Bremen, which is Hapag-Lloyd.
Yeah,
they have a lovely 5-star ship, which they do. And now Silver Seas they've gone mad with the expedition business. They have 3 going on 4 expedition ships.
Yeah.
And they're, by the way, just to mention to you, I don't know if you're going to come back tomorrow, but I met Daryl today, who is one of the expedition leaders with Silver Seas. He's the guy who does the Antarctica dinghies and all that. And he's here, and he's giving a session tomorrow at 2:15. Is that right?
Yeah, we're hoping.
I'm going to be back for that, so that's well worth having a look at. But he's on the stand. He's on the Silver Sea stand if you're interested in Antarctica.
Are going to deep in trouble unless we call a halt on this. Anybody?
We had a late night last night, and we're ready to stay home. We need a drink. We need a drink.
Thank you guys for your time and for your expertise. Really appreciate it. Thank you for your questions. Really enjoyed it. Thank you.